and just trying to work out the technical stuff. I'll give you a little back end on that. We originally talked about it stems from a TikTok that we've seen, and the husband asked the wife to take out the trash, and she said, my hands, my father would never let my hands touch trash. And he said to the wife, will you wash the car? And she laughed again, my father would never have these hands wash a car. And then it transitioned to him asking her to make a sandwich. And she said, what do I look like, your maid or your mother? I think she said, what do I look like, your mother? No, your maid. And he said, my mother would never let me make my own sandwich with these hands. So, although it was funny and we did laugh about it at the time, it did open us up to say, wow, where did that come from? Why would she say I'm not a maid to making her husband a sandwich? And how common is that? What are some of these double standards? Women should expect a man to wash the car, take out the trash, build a bear. I'm sorry, I'm joking right there, but do whatever it is. That came from another conversation. But when men are expected to, be strong and all of those different things, and then we were talking about, well, what are women expected to do? And as I pondered on this topic again, from the very first time until now, I think I just gave the last 30 minutes of my life, just really trying to think about this from a different angle and perspective. And where I landed was, my thought was to think about this topic, and then I was thinking, and I heard Twin's voice, right? Yeah, we do a lot of talking. So he was like, well, who is telling the women how to be wives, and who is, so that's kind of where I was trying to balance out my thought pattern concerning this topic. And I landed on the fact that I think a lot of women aren't instructed one way in terms of what a wife does, because the submission part is to the husband, and husbands change. They all have different needs and wants and desires. Because I'm sitting here yeah, but that don't work for that person. And I see that this works, but this don't work for that. It's so different when it comes to these women and their husbands, because the husbands are the head of the household. So we'll get into it. But I just wanted to let y'all know that. And Twins, how we looking? Are we getting closer to this technical thing, or are we going to just go ahead and rock out today?
We're just going to go ahead and rock out, but I think I got to recheck that stream key, because I put the stream key in, and now the phone is recording, but when I go to the YouTube and go to the Real Deal versus How You Feel, nothing's coming up. So I think I might have the key wrong. So, but we'll figure it out. We'll build it as we fly. We'll get there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll get there.
No problem. Yeah, no rush. We got shows for days, clearly. All right. So again, we're talking about these hands, the double standard, masculine and feminine energy. Twins, I just said a lot. I welcome them to the show. So you want to go ahead and give your piece?
I like how you did the introduction there regarding, getting a little backstory regarding the little TikTok where the man, asks his wife to do a few things, and she's told that, I was raised not to do X, Y, Z with my hands, right? So as he went through a whole list of things, then he asked her, well, can you make me a sandwich? And she was like, I'm not your mother, or what was it? It was something, something.
I'm not a maid.
Yeah, I'm not a maid, right? So at this point, it's like, okay, so if you don't take the trash out, if you don't wash your car, if you don't make me a sandwich, it's like, why am I with you? Like, what is the benefit of being with you? I hope it just ain't the sex. I hope that's not the only reason why you're with me, right? So, what exactly are you bringing to the table, or what is your role? So what I'm saying, as far as what you should be doing, as far as being that mate or that woman, that that piece, what I'm saying, that you should be in this relationship. So that's what we're talking about today is, these hands and these energy that we have, right? So, so I think that's how we're gonna open up the topic right there is, what exactly are we bringing to the table, to the table, as
Mhm.
far as being in a relationship? What are the expectations from the men's side and the woman's side? So I think we should go that route. What do you think?
Yeah, we could do that. And I think it's interesting when we are in some of these other spaces. Now, we haven't had shows with the topic like, excuse me, I have to sneeze. Achoo. All right, that's how we came out. It didn't come out fully, but
He was like,
excuse me
"Hit
anyway.
you."
Um, I know it's a weird.
It was all
Um,
nice and beffish. Hit you.
I told you I'm trying to get into my femininity. Listen, I'm trying to tap in and rest in it. I've been in a few other rooms where, and one in particular the day before yesterday, where there was at least 100 women, over 100 people, but at least 100 women in this phase. And I don't remember the exact title, but Pygmishas was a part of the title. And yes, so it's interesting what you say. What do you bring? What do we bring to the table? Because there are people sitting and having conversations, and they're saying that women should not have to bring anything to the table. Twins, you don't even have to go off right now, sir, because we are about accountability. I'm sitting there like, there's no way in the world, women, you could possibly think that you don't have to bring anything to the table, even if you bring covering prayer. If you bring, you can cook. It has to be something that you have that can be a piece, a benefit, a solution, to complete the whole demand. And I don't mean complete as if he's broken. I'm not talking about that, guys. We're not going that route. This is a whole grown man looking to be married. That's what we're saying. So if you as a woman understand, see, this is why it doesn't make any sense to me as well. Because as an adult, and twins, that's my thing. We're adults, first and foremost. Forget being a woman to a man or a man to a woman. You're an adult first and foremost. So if you understand the responsibility, the accountability, the pressures, the joys, the ups, the downs, the consistency that comes with being an adult, bills come month to month, week to week. Some of them you have to get to work. You have to, certain things you just have to do to stay on top of certain things. How in the world would you want to spend time with anyone that's not bringing some type of ease, balance to that yourself? So if that's the case, then now you're going to reap, and this is, I guess, where some of the frustrations from some of the men come in these spaces where they do not communicate it or expound on it this way. They're just frustrated. So it comes off as a bashing, but I can see where the frustration could stem from if these are the types of women they're running into. Like, you have to do this for me, that for me, this for me, and I have to do nothing. And in addition to you doing all of these things you're doing for me, you have to make me feel good. I said, oh my gosh. Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
So, guys,
With all that being said,
that's the real thing that's happening.
right.
That's really happening out here. So when you said bring to the table, I'm telling you, it just took me. Oh my gosh! If any of these ladies would have heard what are you bringing to the table, they would have went on. I am this prize. Look, you invited me to your table. These are some of the things I heard, though. These
Right.
are some of the. This is some of how they feel, and on some strange level, they've been able to feel this way. So there are some men in this world that are in agreement with this. And that's when things get a little tricky because men aren't dispelling this. They're buying into this. They're paying for these women to get this, that, and the third on the strength of their beauty. They're paying for these women to get, surgery here and there, flying them out, flying them. We've seen it. Now, we know this to be true. Right, twins? They prepared to go fly and buy. So that's the interesting part for me.
Right.
Now we got 2 messages. You got anything you want to say on? I just said a lot. So you got anything you want to say on that
Yeah.
before I press play?
Yeah. Before you hit play. Yeah. So when when I say, or any man say, what do you bring to the table, right? Because as a man, we know what the expectation as far as what we need to do and as far as what we bring to the table, right? We know, this body, and of course, it's not gonna be all men across the board, right? But most men gonna know they need to be the provider, the protector, leader, and all those things, right? So those are things, and when we have this conversation here, we're having this conversation as the end goal be in a long term relationship or even marriage, right? Those two things, not just dating, but
Right.
long term relationship and possibly marriage. But the thing is this, okay, so you have
Right.
two people, you're talking to each other, everything's looking really well. Okay, let's take the next step. All right, cool. So now we're both in agreement that we want to be in this relationship. Now, at this point, this is what, as a man, I'm bringing to the table. What are you bringing to the table? So that's the thought process we need to have. How can we grow and build from here? But you can hit play.
All right. So that scared the crap out of me in real life. Hold on, press play.
I thought you.
The real deal versus how I feel. I feel good, man.
All right. Well, it's Monday. I'm glad you feel good. Most people be down on a Monday.
Right? Beginning of the week, I mean, we do have these, well, on Sundays was Sunday woes, and that's getting prepared for Monday. So that's good. Everybody's doing good so far. I guess the first person, maybe they dropped the phone. I don't know, but but look, yeah. So
yeah, it sounds like they were eating. But
yeah.
And don't forget, we lost the hour time, so people probably on fumes and on here acting up.
That could be true too. People on fumes, drinking their coffee, or had too much coffee, and they on jumping around the place. But anyway, so yes. So
now you pulling my card.
Right, like how you were this weekend, right? The two double shot espressos kick in. But yeah, so I mean, so ladies, ladies and gentlemen who's listening, if it's even men, if you're listening as well, I want to know, what are your thoughts as far as you being in a relationship? Not what the world says, but what do you desire from a woman if you're in a relationship? I'm not speaking of other people's relationship. I'm speaking to you. So if you're a guy and you're listening right now, I want you to voice your thoughts, your feelings, or what do you want a woman to bring to the table if you're going to be in a relationship, right? Excuse me. Sorry. That's one
Absolutely.
I want to hear the man style out there. Not what the world says. What do you want? Because this also helps us as well. So we know the standard across the board, basics, right, for what the man does, but I want to know what from other man's thought process. Now, I'm going to tell you mine. I'm currently married, going on 12 years. And, so in my household, or our household, because it's ours, I'm the provider. I'm provider, protector, leader. Boom. Those things I provide. What my wife brings to the table, she's also the nurturer. She is my peace. She does a really phenomenal job with help raising the kids, especially now with the pandemic going on. She's a full-time teacher on top of that. And on top of that, she actually still has her own business as well as an entrepreneur that she does. Big shout out to Belmont Custom Crafts Creations. So, just check her out on IG. But anyway, same as plug. But yes, those are the things that, I expect.
Hey, shameless. A wise man once told me that when you're on your platform, you plug what you need to plug. You say what you got to say.
Facts.
Oh, that wise man was Twinsinc, guys. That wise man was Twinsinc. Yeah, he told me that.
Appreciate it. And and I'm gonna be honest with you, because I was raised, but I wasn't raised to be a great cook. So can I cook? Yes, but I'm the best. Hell to the no. Being honest. So I expect my wife to be the cook, right? I wash my own clothes. I can't wash everyone else's clothes, but she don't prefer that, which I understand. But can I do it? Yes, I can. I'm expected to go outside in the hot sun, cut the grass. Can she do it? Yes, but do I want her doing it? No, right? So I'm gonna go out there, fight the bugs, all that stuff, and do that thing now. So it's a partnership here that pretty much what I'm saying here. And yeah, I'll leave it there for now. And let you know. I'll let Ms. I speak last speak, and anyone else who has a comment.
Yeah, someone left a comment. I'm gonna just go ahead and let the comment play and then come back in.
Okay.
I feel like the three things that I value most within my marriage is comfort, and security and excitement.
That was good. Oh, wait, what was his name? Joey Jack 95. I think that was, I've never heard anyone say excitement. So I think that was really good because guess what? We like that too. But anyway, I'm sure your wife likes it because you guys are good. So
No,
go ahead, Twins. How do you feel about his comfort?
we don't require much. He didn't say a whole long list of things. You know what I'm saying? He want that excitement. He want that comfort.
Yeah.
What there's another. I think it's in the C. Comfort, peace. Comfort, excitement, and something else. I'm sorry if I forgot that quick. Did you remember the other one was? Miss I speak now?
He said his security.
Yes. So yeah, comfort,
security,
and excitement. Now those things do branch off to many other things, but that is not much to ask for. But as you see from another.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that's a. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Twin.
No, I was just gonna say, from hearing from another man to give what he asked for, he's not asking for the woman to be, well, I mean, you heard what he said. I'm not gonna change nothing else. What he said is what he said. I'll let you continue from there.
Yeah, I think it's you saw my excitement, like, yes, that is it. And one reason that I'm a little excited, we were in the room and another man asked the same question to the men in the room, and none of the men could answer that question, with the exception of one. And the one that did answer the question, he was more or less just being transparent and honest with saying, I'm not in a place right now where I could, state what I want or how I would be equally disappointed with that woman or anything because I'm in a bad space right now.
Okay.
Or he didn't say that. I know that part, but he kind of like, yeah, I couldn't even tell you. But for the most part, the men went around the room and they said, the first thing they said is they want a woman that they want a beautiful woman, and they want a woman that's like not sleeping around. But then it will always, kind of fall into what women don't do, opposed to saying, hey, I want a woman that does this, that, and the third. They just went back into the whole spiel of negative. Well, women don't, want to do this. They want us to do this. They want us to do that, but never get into what they actually want.
That's a good one.
And
right
that is why.
Well,
that is why the part of the. Go ahead.
Now, I'm just gonna say that right there alone is a problem by itself, where the man is not able to formulate a thought process as far as what kind of woman that he wants. Right? Men like that, then so men, if you're that type of man right there who don't know what he wants, well. You said two guys, right? One guy was open about it, but he was still dealing with some things. So with that guy right there, I respect him because he know, right? That one guy, I know that he was actually in the place where he's not ready to be in a relationship, so he know his truth, right? So him personally, I don't expect him to be out there running the streets doing X, Y, Z because he's still trying to figure himself out. Kudos to him because he know himself. Now the other guys, if it's
yes, that's
But the other guys in the room who couldn't even formulate a thought process as far as what they want from a woman, start out saying, oh, I want her to be cute and I don't want her sleeping around and all these things. Okay, so if you're those guys who couldn't answer a simple question as far as what do you want from a woman in a long-term relationship or even marriage, whatever, you shouldn't be dating right now. You shouldn't be dating. You shouldn't be having unprotected sex. So you should be having sex at all because right now you're not in a mature state. For real, because you're not in a mature state to be in a relationship or even have an accident and have a child. Because if you don't know what you want from a woman, how you gonna know how to raise a child and be a father, a leader, a protector if you don't know how to be in a basic relationship with a woman and what things you want from her? Like these guys didn't really sit back and like, well, what do I really want from a woman? You know what I'm saying? Like I want somebody who's gonna love me, give me peace. You know what I'm saying? Help me grow my business, be supportive. Like this is not rocket science, people. This is a partnership that you want. If somebody asks you if you're going to create a business, whatever you're doing, you should have an idea of what you want in the business. A marriage, a relationship is a business. So you need to have some type of basic foundation of what you want. Just that simple.
Yes, true. And I'm telling you now, I think that the men are not fully aware of what it is they want. because there's a lot of compare and contrast happening, right? Especially now when it's like these types of conversations are happening on all social media platforms. You see people doing reels, you see TikTok, you see Clubhouse Room, Stereo, everywhere. We're having the same types of conversations. And I'm sitting back thinking to myself, well, why in the world how could we still be talking about this and there's no change? Everywhere you go, the conversation is basically the same. And again, I really sat back just to think about this and how I can look at it from a different angle than typically. And I realized that in a lot of situations, men don't know what they want, right? However, when they're in a relationship with the women, or the women are trying to figure out what they're going to bring to the table for a man, it's really difficult to even know if you don't start without starting to give your attributes, like and your successes. And in a sense, and this is also from a different conversation, that could look like a turnoff to a man at the same time. So it's like we keep hearing, what are you bringing to the table? Now we're trying to figure out stuff to bring to the table because we are not hearing from men, hey, I just want you to be my peace. Okay, well, what does your peace look like? Does that mean you want your bathwater ran when you get here? Or does that mean you want me to rub your feet when you get here? Or does that mean you want to just be able to go into your man cave? Am I involved in that, that moment? What does that mean? And these are the conversations that are not fully had, and I don't know if men and women fully understand, what they want and what they don't want. And I go for women as well, because if you listen to the women and they'll say, like I'll say it too, I want a man that's going to lead, protect, and provide, right? But if the women don't know exactly what that looks like to them, then they're still, in the messed up place. Because if you say you want a man to lead, and it's to that man, that lead means you listen to him, you are submissive to him, and what he say goes, then is that really what you want? Or do you want a man that's going to lead with a plan, lead by example or whatever? So I don't think we got to the meat and potatoes, twins, on both ends of this.
No, I agree. I understand. So also, for any ladies as well who's currently listening as well, I'd like to pose a question to you as well. As far as either in a long-term relationship or even marriage, what do you actually want from the man? I want to hear your thought process. I want to know, what do you expect of a man that you're going to be in a long-term relationship that may be possibly your husband? What are you looking for? So I'd like for you to chime in and give us, it don't got to be very long. You get whatever you want to give, but I want to hear your thought process as well. But to Miss
right, well, it can't be but so long.
Say that again. Oh, no, I know. It can't be too long. But
no, I was saying it.
But you could do multiple ones.
No, and again, shout out to Joey Jack for sharing his. Joey Jack said, because Twins posed that question to the men as well. So Joey Jack said that he want a woman that's going to be his comfort, his strength, and excitement. So I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
And hopefully someone else will drop theirs. Yeah.
Right.
And now, okay, until someone comes in, let me ask you a question, Twins. Based on what he said, when you think excitement, right? What type of things do you think about? What does that look like?
So for me, as far as the excitement, so what would fall under that category would be spontaneous things, right? For me, it's gonna be like, when I say spontaneous, I'm gonna go into the intimate part, right? So for me, a big turnoff as far as being in a relationship or even marriage is planned sex, right? I don't like nothing planned. I mean, I understand the kids may have to be X, Y, Z, whatever. I get that part, but saying like, okay, baby, on the calendar here on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. we're gonna do it that time, okay? No, because there's no stimulation, there's no excitement, never, and then, like I said, spontaneous. It could be anyway. I don't want to get too depth with it, but as far as the excitement part, that's definitely in it, right? Also, another excitement is that once you know your mate, your husband, your wife, once you know that person, you know the things that they like and don't like, whatever. So if you know your husband likes to bowl, right? I'm just throwing something out there. My wife did one time for me. She know I likes to bowl, right? So she had one of my homeboys come over, and we went to the store to get something, right? And we went to the store, get whatever, get stuff, whatever. And then while we was out, she asked me, can you come here at this address and pick somebody up? Now, when she gave the address, I didn't know what it was. So we drove to a location, like, who we picking up in XYZ? But long story short, when we got there, we was at the bowling alley. And when we got there, all my friends were there. So it was like a little party we threw. Not because of my birthday, it was just because. And that was exciting because, one, she knew what I like to do. Two, she knew who to call to set it up. And three, I wasn't, I wasn't expecting it, and it was pretty cool. So just giving you a little example of excitement in a relationship. It don't have to be all that big, but just the simple fact that you know what your mate likes or what they like to do, capitalize on those things, and then do things around that.
Absolutely. We got a message.
Yep.
And shout out to the wife. We don't have sound effects yet, but y'all know what I'm saying.
Mine would be respect, most importantly, communication, finances, faith, and family.
All right. Shout out to Platinum Hands. Sound like she know what she wants.
Yeah, and those things are.
Now,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I think you were about to answer what I was about to say.
Oh no, I was going to say.
Because you mentioned once Joey said his, you was like, that's not a lot to ask for. So I was going to say, now, does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, those things are reasonable. I mean, I think she had 4 things, so only one more than him. That's not a lot neither, though. But those are big ones too, though. She said respect, finance, and there's 2 other things. Now, I'm old. Sorry, people, if I can't remember that quickly. But Michelle, Michelle. Ms. I Speak Loud. Did you catch the other 2?
I think she said 5 things. I think she said respect. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. She said respect, of course. Mm-hmm. Well, the most important.
Communication.
And then I think she said communication, finance, and I don't know. She'd have to share the other one with us.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly.
But yeah, I don't think it's a lot to ask. And I was also wondering if you noticed that in what she said, she did say finance, right? She didn't say protection. She didn't say leadership. And these are like the typical, I need a man to provide, or I want, not necessarily need, but I want a man that can provide, that can protect and lead. But I think some of the things she said still fall under those umbrellas. Do you agree, or you feel like it's a little different?
No, I mean, yes, they do fall under. They may fall under one category, but I still like those things because respect is definitely. I mean, respect. This before we hit play, I'm pretty sure it's her going back and over her ones he said. But let's talk about it real quick. Respect. That's a huge one right there. Respect is key, and if you don't have respect in a relationship, you're definitely not gonna have anything at all. Communication. You have to be able to communicate with one another. If you don't have a ground foundation of where you want to be or where you're going, then you don't know where you're headed, right? And communication is probably the number one thing that most relationships fail at, right? Forget the whole money part, forget everything else, the communication part. And having great communication can prevent a lot of things from happening, especially when you think about infidelity and those other things. If you can have that open dialogue, and if y'all both have a ground understanding that, first off, when I'm talking to you, I'm coming from a place of love, right? So don't take what I'm saying as being X, Y, Z, but hear me out, hear my heart. Just know at the root of everything, I don't hate you. I'm not mad at you, but I got to convey this, and sometimes it might come out this way, but know my heart, but I still need to be able to talk to you without going far left and far right. And then core security, you're going to need security. I mean, simple as that. I don't think anybody wants to be in a relationship with somebody where one person has to carry all the load. And, financial is definitely another way to break up a relationship or a friendship or whatever, because money is the root of all evil, but you need it to survive now. And you can go ahead and play. Or you can also say anything else.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. No, I'm going to hit play.
Faith and family.
Faith and family.
Respect, communication, finances, faith, and family.
Oh, yeah.
And I indeed agree. That makes sense. And then faith and family are big ones, too.
Yes. Especially,
mine would have started with.
Yeah, I don't believe it's of any particular order as you just saying it, but you think about the faith, that comes back down to being equally yoked, right? Meaning that you're both coming from the same place, you both have the same foundation. I mean, for instance, if you're in a relationship with somebody, it'd be very hard to be in a relationship if one, you're a Christian, and then secondly, you're a person who believes in Hindu or whatever. So that's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? That's not gonna be equally yoked because y'all have it's not it's gonna be a conflict when it comes to the faith. So you want to be with somebody that y'all equally yoked to. And I just use that one as a clear as day so people do understand. But the faith could mean the equally yoked thing could be as well as if I smoke and you don't smoke, that's not gonna work because we don't do the same things. And then family matters too because family is a very key part in a relationship. You definitely need family. And Miss Hospital, you can go ahead. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. All right, you want me to hit play? You done?
Yeah, I'm done. Do you have anything to add to that, or are you good?
Okay. No, I agree.
Okay.
You said it all.
Well, for the most part, when you are with a real man, those are things that are unspoken. You don't have to ask for those things because he holds that quality already. So that's not something that I would have to look for because that quality is already there. He already provided that with me. That's why we're on the verge of being married, or that's why we're married, because he's already shown that he can do that.
Okay, yeah, that's good to point out as well. But I think that one key thing that Michelle said, thanks Platinum Hands.
I know, right?
For the for the comment. One key thing that she pointed out when expounding upon how simple it should be, right, for the women in this case, is that real man factor. And I think that's what we were just mentioning. I don't know if she had joined by then, but what we were mentioning in terms of, do men know what they want? And then, is that something they can communicate? And not necessarily communicate like this, I want that, but know it in the way that it could come across to that woman and that be that. So, yeah.
Okay.
No disagreement there. You got anything, Tim?
Yeah. So, one thing I hear all the time when it comes to men and women having conversation about relationship is that one thing I hear a lot is that women will always say real man, right? But when you ask men about women, I think I never said this, or I don't know if men said this, but I don't hear men say real woman. So the question I have is, so when you say real man,
that's because y'all already have another term for us.
What's that term?
Not pleasant.
You said not present?
Not one I use, period. I said it's not a pleasant one, and it's not one that I tend to use. Okay. Period. But you guys don't say real woman because you already refer. When you're talking, downward about a woman, you already have terms for those women that you don't honor in the sense of what you would say real woman too.
Okay, give me the first letter and the last letter.
You get what I'm saying? I mean, you got B, you got, well, for the most part, what we're talking about, it will lend to like, monster B. What's this word that I just heard used in this other space? They were talking about the women that, kind of go after men money. We talked about it before, but the word is
gold digger.
What's on my mind right now?
Gold digger.
Gold digger. Thank you. Yes, gold digger.
Okay. So
you have words. You guys have terms. Is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So you said B, monster B, and gold digger. Those are the words that men will use, just like how women say real man. Men will say these. I don't want no B or monster B or gold digger. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay. Now,
right.
I usually don't hear these things coming from a man. I've been in plenty of rooms when we had these conversations about what they want from a woman, but I don't hear, I don't want no B, I don't want no Goldie. Those things I don't hear when men say what they want from a woman, but okay, I can take that. I can run with that.
So you don't hear the men saying they don't want gold diggers? They don't want women that's after their money, that's all they want?
So just like the conversation we just posed earlier to the one in the chat room, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know you had one guy who replied, but the question is, what do you want from a woman, right? Right. And the guy said, I need a woman who's, XYZ, security, excitement, whatever. He didn't say what he didn't want, is what I'm saying. He didn't say I didn't want it. He said, okay, what I want from a woman is these things. That's all I'm saying. When we ask what we want, we not
right. But this is what we normally hear, though. He did go into just what he wants. But like I was telling you early on in the conversation, and even I don't know if you did it, but you also did it as well when you said, I'll tell you guys what I want, and you went into in terms of when I asked this question specifically about excitement, you was like, well, to me, excitement is like spontaneity. You said like being spontaneous, those things, but then you went right into what I don't want is like playing sex. I don't want that. And and that's how the conversation goes. Now you were able to stay on track, like, okay, I'm just putting this out there. You answered the question, but you did provide what you don't want. And I'm saying that in a lot of spaces, most men go to what they don't want. Just like that, and they stay there. It's just like, okay, well, what do you want? You just said she's pretty. You want her to be pretty. After like the first two things are pretty and not being swept around with a whole bunch of people, then it's just like, I don't want no woman that's like, I don't want this and that. And that's kind of where I was saying before, how it goes. You get what I'm saying? I know you probably didn't even notice it, but that's,
No, I heard you say it. I was just letting you finish. But I understand in those other rooms, but I'm talking about just right now with the whole conversation that we have right now. I'm not going to really base off everything else, but most of the time when I ask a man what they want from a woman, they don't lead off of what they don't want. That's like the question I'm asking right now is like what you want from a woman, and I outlined what I wanted. He outlined what he wanted, but neither one of us said, I don't need no gold digger woman, I don't need no monster B, I don't need a B. Like those things that's not even I'm telling you what I want. I don't care what I don't want. That's like part two of a question of what do you don't want from a woman. And the only thing I ask is for Platinum Hands is that when you say real man, I'm just asking you what does that look like from a real man?
So you're asking her what does it look like to be? What's the difference between real man or
not a difference? She just said,
or what a real woman? You mean real woman?
No, because that's something that I probably would have said or the guy would have said. He didn't
say breaking real up man. A little bit, friend.
No, the question is that she said I want a real man. All I'm asking her is what does that look like as far as a real man? What is a real man to her? So I want her to expand on that real man part.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and press play, and I'm sure she'll go ahead and send a message.
Man, really, before you get into a relationship, you definitely gotta be best friend with the other. Like, you can't just hop on a relationship and say like, oh, just because like you're pretty or I like what you do, and like just think about this person could. But really, it's like, man, you really this person and like know what you're getting into, who you're about to really put that time into that person, and if you're really committed to it, so you really gotta be like a best friend to your significant other. If not, it's like you're just there for the love, and then from there it's like, okay, I don't really know this much about this person. It's really gonna go down. And
yes, and what I got from what he's saying is that when you do get into a relationship, you want to be a friend with that person, which is true. You need to be, you may not be best friends, but you should be a really good friend to your significant other that you're talking to or currently dating, right? So,
right. So great foundation for sure.
So the kind of piggyback what I was saying before we hit play to that is this. So when I ask, what do you want from a woman, right? So when you think at these things, the three things you said, gold digger, monster B, and B, those women I wouldn't even entertain with. Once I know what they currently stand on, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm not going to entertain that to be in a situation where I felt that, oh, she didn't even want me because of my money or X, Y, Z. Like, That's what I'm saying. Once you know we went from a woman, when you start talking to these women, you can filter them out like, okay, yeah, she's not on the same level where I want to be. But this even goes back to the previous conversation that you brought up, saying that you were just in the room, and men, you asked the men what they want from a woman, and
Wait,
they
you
don't
breaking
know.
up? You breaking up a little bit, twin.
I'm still breaking up.
Twin, you was breaking up a little bit. Yeah, you still a little broken up. I couldn't even hear the question you said just now.
Ah, man.
Go ahead. Try
there
you
again.
go. I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Because I'm not.
Yo, you good? Go
right.
now.
No. I was just saying that. I'm not quite sure what part you didn't hear, but I'll go back to this part here. To go back to even what you said previously, you was in a room of a bunch of men could not explain or say what they wanted from a woman, right? Still with me?
Right.
Okay. So what I'm saying that those guys right there,
wouldn't even be an option.
No, yeah, I lost my thought. You know what? Here's what I said. I'm sorry. With the gold digger, monster B, and B's, when as a man, if you're looking to be with a certain woman or be in a certain relationship, once you are talking to these ladies and having a communication, if these ladies does not fit the category that you want them to be in, then I don't entertain those. So I wouldn't entertain a gold digger, a monster B, or a B if those were the women I ran into if I was trying to date.
Right. What are the telltale signs of a gold digger for a man? Because I heard a man say, I guess it's been so bad for him that, he won't pay for the date. Or, he wouldn't even consider it being a date until they've gone out prior to, where she's paid, got herself there, paid, and everything. It's not a date. So, what could have happened to where, or are there signs to say, no, this person's a gold digger, if they're not just coming outright with it?
So you want to know how a man is able to identify a woman only care about his money? Is that the question?
Right.
Okay.
Right. One. How do you identify a gold digger?
Yeah, that's very easy because they make it well known right away. They worry about what kind of car you drive.
Mm-hmm.
They worry about what kind of clothes you wear. Mm-hmm. They make it well known that on first dates, they make it well known as far as what they want to do as far as in a relationship. Like, oh yeah, I want to go to Key West this weekend, or they'll make things well known. Or don't even, or yeah,
it's a voice for me.
or even on top of that, of course, they'll ask you where you live. Those things are general questions. So where you live, what do you do? Those are just basic information to find out. You know what I'm saying? Get to know you. But when they start asking for money, right? When they start asking to buy things for them, when they start asking to pay for bills within a month. Those are red flags. Because I talked to a woman in less than a month. She's talking about, oh, my light is about to get cut off. Yeah. Now, she may not be a gold digger. She may not be a gold digger, right? She may not be a gold digger, but I'm not paying your bills because you still need to be responsible for your bills. If within the month, if you're asking me to pay a bill within the month, this is not going to work out for us. And also, if she's every time you have a conversation, she's talking about, these designer name clothes and bags and stuff. Yeah, I don't got it to do.
Got you. It makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I'm a press play.
So when I say the term real man, I mean a man who's not playing games, a man who can make a decision about his feelings or what it is that he wants or looking for, and he's staying firm with that no matter what kind of situation he's in. His answer's always the same. Someone who has gotten over his player days and all this type of stuff. Someone who's 100% full on into being in a relationship, no buts, no outside influences, just his own influences, his thoughts, his terms and conditions, and standing firm on it and not because I'm in this situation or I'm around this group of people, I have to be this way, and then I'll be back this way. But yeah, you know my heart, so don't take it.
Mm. Where that was going was really deep. It was going back to that representation thing, a representative thing. But thank you again, Platinum Hands. I don't disagree in terms of what she's saying a real man would look like. And I know, again, she lended to what she even included, like what doesn't, what you don't want to look for. So I agree.
Yeah, I'm sure part two is coming. So also, Platinum Hands, just another question, and then I'll let you be. I promise. So, at what point?
You are breaking up, sir.
I'm still breaking up.
Go ahead. Try. I don't know. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Microphone check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. How am I?
You're good now.
I'm good. I'm good. Okay. Just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, Platinum Hands, I just want to have a follow-up question. Is at one point are you able to identify when he's no longer, or when he is at the point in his life of being a real man? Is that something that he got to tell you, or is that something that you're able to see? So, yeah.
At what point are you able to identify this man as a real man?
Yes.
Like similar to how I asked you about how do you identify the dang, I forgot the term again.
The gold digger.
Anyway.
Gold digger?
Yes. Gold digger. Yes, gold digger. Yeah.
Yeah. And also at what point you know what I'm saying, is he, is she able to see those things, or is it something that he got to tell her that, hey, I'm a real man, right? So how are you able to weed out those situations, right? Because I think she said, he's no longer chasing the street. He's no longer, what I'm saying, dealing with other situations. Like, how are you able to do that?
Well, I think she noted some of those ways, and I'm sure she'll come back. But I think she noticed some of those ways, and I'll share my view on it. In terms of her mentioning, like, no longer chasing the streets. When men are interested in that, there's a way, the verbiage that they use when they're not, and there's a little bit of a difference, because it's almost like a little bit of an undertone in judgment when you guys are talking about other men. It's almost like you speak from an elevated space, and that's when it's like, no, I did that before. I'm not into that. That's those guys over there, those young guys. You can say whatever you want. Y'all might not understand, but you guys do a lot. So it's like, okay, I see you trying to set yourself apart from, certain things. I'm listening to the type of music you listen to. Where are you with it? Because if you with this Megan Thee Stallion body, yada, 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 look, I had that experience today, and so I'm paying attention, because these are also things that, I enjoy, or like, look at, or ways I express myself, right? So I'm looking at that as well. I'm looking at almost a mirror. So I listen to the music you have, how you handle situations. Let's just say we're driving somewhere and, someone cuts you off. If you go berserk and you're like, this, and that's a lot, Not only that, the person can't hear you. The only person or people can hear you is me in the car, or me and the kids, whatever the case is. So that, looking at, I've learned from experience. So my looking's a little bit more looking, but I look for real things. So if I have an opportunity to just hear you talk about things you've done, and not necessarily ask those questions. I know a lot of people say ask the question of what you're going to do in the next 5 years and stuff like that. That'll come, I think. But what have you done? What time frame did you think you were going to have that done? I want to know if you look at things as failures, or if you're a finisher. And I think I mentioned this to you before, Twinsinc, when we talked about your basement studio. Stuff like that, that's what I'm listening to. Like, oh, I started this project, I finished it. And of course, faith, if you believe God, that's stuff that comes out of church. So yeah. Michelle, I'm sure, Platinum Hands, I'm sure will share her breakdown, but it's really going to be some of these obvious things, what they're watching, what just like you said for the woman who is like a gold digger. That's just maturity. That's that. Uh-oh. I remember that. Did you mean to do the sound effect this time, or was that an accident?
Nah, that I got a notification pop up on the computer because I have it all hooked up to my system here. So.
Oh, I was gonna say, y'all don't know, but Twinsinc can start doing sound effects behind me when I'm talking. So.
Nah,
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet in the show.
I mean, does that answer your question though?
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
No. Those points you said were definitely valid points, and it's good to hear from a woman's point of view or side of what she looks for and what she does to get a full understanding of when a man is supposed to be in a certain place. So no disagreement there. No disagreement there.
Especially, and another thing, like hearing you guys talk to each other. Another thing I've been able to witness more recently than before is, men change up. I see that you guys talk to each other. Y'all don't want each other. It's like I said, comparison thing. Y'all don't want each other to think y'all not doing well. So y'all talk away with each other. But then when women are around, you both saying, "Oh, I have this and I do that and I'm this or that and the third." Some men, and I'm not saying all, of course, but that's another way to see, like, or when men are having a conversation amongst themselves, like, okay, I hear you. I hear your tone.
Yeah,
I hear how you coming out about this and that and third.
Yeah, you want to make sure he keeps that same energy he had as he's talking to you. Now,
Absolutely.
He get around his homeboys, he don't switch it up. Because you have to give him the side eye, like, really? Just an hour ago, you was talking about sensitivity. But now you're barking now.
Oh, that really cracks you up.
Now you're barking now. Now you got your chest out.
Yep, and that's another, like, and it doesn't matter the age, and that's the sad part about it, because you really can't even go by, okay, this guy is old enough, you sitting here, half a century, a decade old, and you like playing games with this thing. One minute you talking, I got this money, I got that money, and the next minute you crying wolf. I don't have no money. I don't know nothing. Help me.
So, Miss I Speak, let me ask you a question here.
That's the problem.
No problem. So, at what point? At what point in a relationship, right? Before, like I said, before you even get to marriage, right? At what point in your relationship do you show the I'm gonna say submissive roles? When you saw or submissive traits, how about that? At what point in a relationship do you start showing the person you're with that you have submissive roles or traits? He's saying roles, but traits.
Your phone, this thing breaking up real bad, but I think I got what you're saying. At one point, do you start showing submissive traits?
Yes.
Honestly, I think it starts from the very beginning. I don't think we lead with aggression. I think we respond to the man, but in terms of when you talk about marriage submission, completely submitting to that man's vision, that man's word, and things like that, I think you definitely get there before marriage, but I think that would be after he's shown and, proven some of these things that he's not that representative or that representative, but this is who he is. He's been consistent in his walk. He's been consistent in his talk. He's been consistent in what he's, pouring out and what he does. And I think that comes just as soon as he's consistent. And I don't mean like, oh, he did this one thing and you're looking for it to happen 10 times. No, but just his overall energy is consistent, if that makes sense.
Okay, so he would have to show first before you show yours, right? Is what you're saying?
No, we lead with femininity is what I'm saying. But the level of it that comes with marriage would come after he shows up. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, naturally, I want you to open the door for me. Naturally, I'm not yelling and screaming. I mean, none of that's happening unless I'm in defense mode. So it's going to be a woman that shows up first and foremost, and whatever, he leads with is what we're going to respond to. If he's an aggressive man, me personally at this point, I'm gonna just be a walk away. I don't have nothing to say. It's not even about bowing out gracefully. I'm just leaving. Um, but some women won't. They will feel like, they have to address whatever's being said. Oh, you said this to me. I'm gonna say this to you. You said that. You did this. Da da da. So I really think it depends on how he leads, or what he does. Whatever energy he comes with, I don't think a woman's gonna have a problem having that initial submission. Okay, babe, and here's an example of what I'm saying. So a man comes to a woman already decided, we're gonna eat here. I'm gonna pick you up at this time. And this is already once discussion is had. Oh, you're available this weekend? Yeah. About what time you're available? Oh, I'm pretty free after 5, right? So he knows that much information. Goes, he makes reservations. He decides where you're going to eat. He decides what time he's going to pick you up. Any after activity, anything after that, because you've already let him know you're free after 5. She's not. I don't see a woman, or what we call it now a real woman, would have a problem with that. And that would be him showing up, and as long as that energy is consistent, then that full blown, you can tell me I'm going to have filet mignon tonight and I'm going to have turkey. I would follow that. It doesn't matter what it is. And I was just being extra right there. But just to say, at that point, the man can fully lead, in my perspective. He'd be able to fully lead me.
Okay. Not a wrong answer. I was just curious personally. So
I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Right. Just right. There's definitely no right and wrong answer. I hear this a lot where some ladies say, they don't show everything until they know that person is the right one before they not give them everything, but show them that, I don't know, just show them that they can be a certain person, but it's only once they're able to see if the man is worthy enough to do X, Y, Z. So that's all. That's all I was just saying. At what point in a relationship does the man become worthy? Sound like Thor. Become worthy to swing the hammer. But yes, at what point do you become worthy? Okay.
Oh my gosh, worthy. I don't even want to talk about worth and value. I don't want to talk about any of those words. But yeah, I don't think it's an age. I think it's really, the communication is there. You guys are not, you're talking, for real. You're not having dry emails or, things like that. He's leading, in a respectful way. Hey, I made reservations for here, whatever. You okay with that? Or, he's telling you once you finish that, I think that's just like the basic. But once you guys really get to know each other and you're talking about, building each other in different levels, then I think it comes really naturally. I think it's when the representative is there and then there's been some form of hurt. Once a woman senses a form of a violation or disappointment in a man, like that first letdown, is when the guard goes up. That's when it's, oh no, I'm not going to move like this until this or that. Or I'm not giving him any of this energy, especially like when we talk about a woman being a man's piece. So I got to go through whatever hell I go through in my day, and then I got to put all of mine aside because I'm going to be fresh for you. You know what I mean? I'm not coming with my stuff. I'm just going to come and I'm going to love on you and I'm going to let you relax and all of that. That's a special place. So why would I give that to someone who's not going to pour back into me in the ways that I need it for me to be able to continue to do that? And that's what happens. Once that disappointment happened, like it didn't come. I think we talked about this on somewhat of a level when we spoke about the pillow talk, not being able to have pillow talk with your wife or husband.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. All right. Do you have any follow up questions regarding the topic as well?
Well, I wanted to say, do you, in masculine and feminine energy, and it kind of does kind of piggyback off the question you just asked, do you feel like women are naturally leading with masculine energy, and I'm not saying all women, of course, and aren't feminine?
Yeah, I believe that they're leading, especially now in this day and market. So I feel bad for. First, am I breaking up? Am I coming in clear?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
Okay. So right now in this day and market, right now that we're in 2021, a lot of women are leading with their masculine energy. So it makes it very hard for them to even be in these relationships with certain men, because when men see these energy, they're like, oh man, step back. I don't want to deal with it. Now, granted, I'm not dating.
Right.
I'm not in the market of dating at the moment, but I have a lot of people that I do speak to, and I'm not dead, and I hear what's going on in the world. I see what's going on in the world, but people are leading with just the masculine energy, and I said this before previously, when you meet somebody and you're coming to the table talking about, I'm a C, as far as a woman, I'm a CEO. I have my own car. I make 6 figures on that stuff. Okay, those things are masculine traits, because as a man, those are things that we strive to push for. I don't have a second layer to go back on, right? And I think I said this before, a man can't lead with a conversation saying that, hey, I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to raise kids. I know how to vacuum clean. I know how to make the bed. I know how to be your support system. I'll be your male cheerleader. Those things men cannot lead with. Now, those are things that you should be able to do. So I'm not taking them off the table, but those are not the first things that I'm going to lead in a conversation with a woman if I'm trying to date her and get to know her, that, yeah, I can do all those things. No, those are things I'm expecting from the woman to bring to the table. So that's where the masculine energy come in.
All right. So when you sit at the table and you're having this initial conversation, or you've heard people sat at the table and had this conversation, how are they responding to that? What do you bring to the table question? How do the women respond to that? What would be a response that will lend to what you guys would prefer? If not, well, this is, what I do. This is who I am, X, Y, Z.
You said, so what things that we would like to hear, right? When asking
to
the
that
table?
Question that you posed before. Yeah.
So let me go back, real quick. So just be clear here. I don't believe of all the dates and ladies that I have spoke to, I ever asked this question directly to them, talking about what do you bring to the table. I don't think that's a question that men are using as far as dating. Hey, what do you bring to the table? That's not something that that's an unspoken thing that's being said. And I said because when we do have conversation, these are things that the ladies are forcing out there. They putting out there. Well, I can do this. I can do that. I don't need a man. Those things. I don't need you to pay my bills. Those things, those things are coming out without me even asking you, what do you bring to the table? Most men, not all men, but most men are listeners. They listen to things they want to hear. So if I'm just sitting there just having a group conversation, talking whatever, and every time you open your mouth, you're talking about my job, this, and my business here, and these people here I got to deal with, and my car this, and I just pay this off, and my credit score is that. That is all masculine energy right there. It's like, okay, we're no longer on the clock. This is after hours. Can we talk about other things? Can we talk about, me and my girls, we want to do, girls' night, or, we have game night. We want to, what I'm saying? I like going to the movies and, just those feminine things that we listen to hear. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what they need to say, but when you have...
Now, that's Interesting.
So what I'm saying, when you have these conversations, I don't need you to lead with all your accolades, right? That's what I'm saying. Don't lead any conversation with one person or even a group table of your accolades, right? Because most of the time when people are in a group area and somebody sees somebody attractive, you know what I'm saying? They sit there and sit back and listen listen to the conversation to see where. Well, this is me. I'm gonna speak for Twinsinc. So for Twinsinc, if I'm in a group setting, let's say we went to like a.
Wait.
Is that you?
Come on, do a mic check.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I think I got an alert come in. How about now? Am I good? Am I good?
Yeah. Yes, that's better.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen,
go ahead.
If we're in that open environment, and it can even be Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, or if you're at a business, or not business, but if you're out somewhere, if you're at work, whatever, if you're in a group with a bunch of men, bunch of women at the table, everyone having an open dialogue conversation, right, about whatever, right? And I might see a woman across the table or whatever, and I think she's good looking, right? But now she passed on a look test. I'm like, all right, she looks good. All right, now I'm listening on conversation. I want to know how she talks among her girlfriends, even around guy friends. And during the whole conversation, once again, if you're leading with all the accolades that you had in your life, that's like kind of like a turnoff, okay? Because those are conversations we'll have one-on-one when I get to know you. When we sitting at dinner one-on-one, I'm like, hey, what do you do? What are your long-term goals? Oh, you went to college where? Those are questions I want to ask you on a one-on-one intimate session. But if we're in a group session, you throwing out all your accolades, that's a complete turnoff for me, and especially if the accolades are all masculine. Yeah, I got my own car. Yeah, I run a business. I make 6 figures. That's all masculine energy. That's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that it's like it's hard because this is a problem that I could see, but I can see why it's a problem, why it's still a problem. Because even this conversation here is not, I don't know if we'll get to a resolve, and guys, we usually do come to some type of consensus or something, but I know the women are, making the men aware of what they do, but that's their lives right now, unless they're, their moms, and then they probably tend to talk about their children a little bit more than what they do in their career, but they're single at this point. So, if the majority of their life is their work and that's what they're into right now, I think that's cool, as long as that's not all they do. And when I say that, I mean have extracurricular activities as well. And there are lots and tons of women who are they just live for their work. I get it. And I'm sure, those are the women that you are definitely talking about. But I think even if the criteria gets cut off so quickly, even those women that mention it still have a little bit more to give. Work is just the safest thing to go with, in the beginning phase we're talking about, in terms of when do you feel more comfortable to give a little bit more of who you really are. Where the county I actually live in, or, where I actually go and hang out, because you might decide to pop up. So work is like, okay, this is what I do for a living. That's safe to talk about. And I think we're definitely different men and women. And that's one of the things we just view differently. It's just, because what else are we discussing? Or when you ask the question, I guess it depends on how the question is worded too. What are we going to say? We go out with our girlfriends? Well, yeah, but I'm not out with my girlfriends all the time. It's like, once a month or once every other month? Maybe some people do go out with their girlfriends, every week. I don't know. But so I think that's where we definitely are just viewing it differently. We got a message, though. Did you have anything, or do you want me to hit play?
Before you play, I just want to piggyback off one thing you said. Can you hear me? Yeah? No? Maybe so? Are we good? Hello?
Oh, yeah, I had muted because I thought you were talking. But good, yeah, I can hear you.
I'm like, okay. Right. No, listen, I get that part, right, where sometimes you do have to, you do want to speak on your accolades, right? One thing I don't hear, especially with ladies who have kids, I don't hear the because this things that I'm looking for, Twinsinc. This is what I'm looking for in a woman, right? I want to know how it. Let's say she has kids, right? She's a single mother. She has kids. I want to know how she's involved with her kids' life, meaning that, oh man, little Johnny got basketball practice. Oh, little Johnny doing X, Y, D. Johnny doing this, or Michelle doing this, or Keisha doing this. Like, I want to hear that the busy mom things that you have to do, right? As being a single parent. I want to hear about how, you're tired because you got to get up early, take your son to school, and then afterwards you got to take him to basketball practice, you got to get him shoes or, camping, whatever those things. I want to hear those things because that lets me know, okay, what kind of mother is she, right? Is she a mother who's really about her kids and about her business? That's a plus to me. I say because me personally, I date with a purpose. So if she has kids and she talk about her kids, I'm not saying she got to talk about her kids all day, all night long. But if I hear more about your business accolades compared to your kids' accolade, there's a problem, because all that job stuff don't really mean nothing to most men. How are you with your son and your daughter, and how you raising them? How are they in school? Is it good? Is it bad? Those things I look at to get a picture of what kind of woman she is.
Yeah, and that's, again, I disagree, but that's interesting because some men will look at that and say, because you have those kids and you have that busy schedule, you don't have time for me. So it's interesting. I think this is why we don't have a distinctive women are to be this, and this for men, as we have with the men. Overall, if you're a leader, protector, and provider for a woman, then that is enough. Whereas though with women, it may be different for each man. So it's interesting to hear that. I'm going to go ahead and press play unless you got something else planned.
You're good.
Hey, Twins, I speak live. Just dropping off. I was sitting here for a minute, but I was working. I got a button to say hi. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Bye-bye.
For justice sake, hi, Queen. I'm glad you were able to stop by. Yeah, we're talking about feminine energy and masculine energy. And I feel like right now we're just really talking about the disconnect between the two. That's where I'm at with it. So thanks for popping in and showing love. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Glad that you're able to stop in and say hi. Always good to have you here. You always be bringing some good content as well. So to go back to the things that I was just saying before we listen to that voice note. Now, it also depends on the type of man, right? Now, certain men, not all men have. I mean, I might think that we all have the same goals. We all want the same woman. We really don't. But that it depends. If you're talking about to a young person, yeah, they're gonna want the same thing. They want a cute girl, big butt, long hair, don't care, whatever, right? But once you start speaking to these mature men that know what they want in life, know they want a significant other, somebody they want to be their backbone, their peace, whatever, they start looking at relationship differently. For real, I mean, listen, I'm 39 now. When I was in my 20s, I wasn't thinking about the same thing I'm thinking about now when it comes to women. I'm just being honest with you. So I don't know at what age that the switch turned for me. I mean, I could probably say 27 because that's when I got married. So maybe at 27, the light switched for me and I pick and chose whatever. But what I'm saying that based on the men that not you want, or most of the men who's looking to be in a serious relationship, you got, you know what I'm saying? You have to really find out. I think this is the problem, right? The disconnect here is this. Most men, most women don't know when they're ready to be into a relationship. Some people may be forced into a relationship because maybe they had a child or whatever. But I'm thinking is when it comes to having a healthy relationship, the man, number one, first need to get his stuff together. He needs to have his priority together as far as, picking and choosing and finding what he wants in life. He needs to have his head on straight before he can know when he's ready to be in a serious relationship. And the same thing for the woman. Now, I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman, but as a man, once I knew I was ready to be in a serious, long relationship, the way I looked at women, the way I dated was driven. It was purpose driven. I knew what I wanted, and I had a criteria that I had to go through and check off before before I really committed to a woman for a long-term commitment. So I'll leave it there for now.
All right. Agreed. I also feel like as I sit and I ponder, right? And I'm like, the men are really the ones that grow the women. So most times women, when it comes to, being a wife, you're going to be the type of wife to the type of dad you have. And you said it, that men are all different, So that's really interesting to me. It's like, wow. It's not really the mom. You don't really your mother. It's really your dad. The type of men you go after.
I'm sorry, guys. I hope you can hear me. I'm in a grocery store now.
I hope you can
But
hear me too.
no, it's not something that he has to tell me because it's presented. You know what I mean? It's about the way he carries himself, his conversation, and things like that. If you guys can't hear me, I got my earpiece in. I'll just try and call back in once I get in the car.
No, we heard you. Thanks again, Platinum Hands. And I think, I had pretty much said that, yeah.
Yep. I heard Platinum Hands. I
He
heard
doesn't
you.
have to
Platinum
put
Hands.
that.
Yeah, I heard you loud and clear, Platinum Hands. So you can keep responding from there if that works for you. But we heard you loud and clear.
You want me to go ahead and press play?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure you guys got a response to what it looks like to me. That comment, I was in the store fading in and out, so I didn't hear. But if you did not, just can you say it again, please? And I'll, call back in.
Yeah. So it was a little delayed, but I believe she got the message. We heard exactly what you said, and you did answer the question. And of course, your answer is not the end all, but for at least what you're looking for when it comes to being in a relationship with, with your husband or man, whatever. You know exactly what you're looking for and what it looks like to you is based on his actions. So I got it. Thank you for answering the question. Thank you.
Yes. So, yes, twins, I think that's where the, back to where we were. I think that's where the disconnect is, and also where the connection is. Because it's like, that makes sense, That makes a lot of sense. That woman is, looking at that man. She's looking at a father, not necessarily everything, but she's either going to go for the type of man that her father is, and if each her father, she's going to try to go toward the opposite of that.
Okay, so you're saying that
until she becomes, mature enough to see a difference, to experience differences.
All right, so
like your daughter, you have a daughter, so go ahead. You breaking up a little bit, so you're a little delayed. I didn't know you were talking. Go ahead.
So, what you're
Twin?
saying? Yeah. So, I think what you're saying is that most women, when they do pick and choose or decide dating, they're really depending if they had a healthy relationship with a father. That's kind of like the role model that they're kind of looking at as far as the man they want to be with. Is that safe to say? What you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and even if they had an unhealthy one, they go for the opposite. Whatever they look at is the opposite of that.
I got you.
Yeah. So I think that's why it's a disconnect, but that's the connection at the same time. So that's why it's varying as well, because depending on if the woman it's like you said, if the woman had a healthy relationship with her dad, or if she had, one less fortunate, then that'll change how she thinks a wife would be or a woman would be. So it's all very interesting as I sit back and ponder.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in most cases, young women or little girls that go to, that turn into women, based on their raising, they watch and see everything, right? So I think you were saying earlier, I have a daughter. I do. So, the way I treat her mother, my wife, is going to be an indication of what she may look for when she go out in the market to find a husband, right? Not saying she want to find a man who's like me, but I'm gonna raise it where she finds somebody who's better than me. He can't be me. He gotta be better than me. But that's a whole nother topic.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's another topic, but I like that. That right there sets a different bar. So that's really good. Whereas though, you might have a person like we talked about my situation. You might have someone whose father tries to teach them, things that where he can see his own faults, he might can't verbalize it or communicate it to you, but he doesn't want you to do or fall for that same thing. So he kind of try to show you something different, right? Like, look, make sure you can do this because just having a woman that's a looker is not it. Men aren't going to really want this, so make sure you have this as well. So he made sure that I could cook and I knew to have the tub water ran when he was, once he got off of work and all those things. So yeah, the meat and potatoes is a good thing. That's Twinsinc's version of all of it. Give them all the information they need, and be all the representation they need. That's gonna definitely change the outcome.
Yeah, and have realistic goals.
So.
Realistic goals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And yeah, that's really another topic too. When you say realistic goals, like how we talk about teaching these kids that they're kings and queens and princes and princesses, let's just give them realistic goals. And I'm not taking away from, the whole royal scope, but in terms of leaders, be a leader, not a follower, and what are real world leaders? We don't have that here. So say be the judge, you're the judge, or that's what I'm saying. I like how you said that, real life goals, but we need to put real life titles and when we speaking to them as well, our children that is anyway. So good to think about that too. Well, friends,
yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good
about this topic.
I'm feeling good. I mean, I don't have anything additional unless someone has a question that's going to help trigger any more thought process. But I think my mind is all tapped out as far as, these hands, these masculine and feminine energy. So unless someone has a question or something you want to answer for us or try to move the conversation to keep it going, you're going to have to ask a question at this point because I'm all out. Tapped out.
Yeah. What do you think it was for you when you decided? Because I just heard you say, it was probably around 27 when the year you got married that you came into that space, to make that decision that this is what you want. Was it something that your wife did, even though she wasn't your wife at the time, to kind of help you along, or was it because you made that decision? You were at that point then, and then right after that, you decided to go ahead and marry your wife.
So for me, it was a few things that kind of triggered me to not jump into it, but look to be with someone as far as long-term relationship. I knew I wanted to be in a long-term relationship, and I didn't know it was going to lead to marriage, but I made it well known that I'm looking for a long-term relationship. So two things is this. So I moved to Atlanta 2008, right? Now, prior to me moving to Atlanta 2008, I was in Pittsburgh, PA, and I actually was engaged at that time frame before I moved down. Long story short, the wedding got called off. Wasn't my fault. Nothing I did. Wasn't me. So let's just say I moved to Atlanta with a broken heart, right? Now I'm saying I was coming to Atlanta. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was coming to Atlanta to be a capital HOE. Single, no kids, freaknik. Oh, yeah, I was coming to turn up. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was coming to turn up. Being honest with y'all.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm just being real with y'all so y'all can get the picture. So I had no intention when I moved to Atlanta to be married within 5 years, okay? I had no intention because I moved out in 2008, but I got married in 2009. God had other plans. But so when I moved down to Atlanta, right, you know what I'm saying, first year, not even a year really, but I moved in June. So I was always still in the church. meaning that I was part of the church when I was in Pittsburgh, and when I moved down here, and I worked 2 jobs at one point, and I met somebody at my second job that was part of the ministry. So I got back into the ministry. I mean, I never got out of it, but I found a new church home. Long story short, and I got involved, really involved, to the point where I was actually a DIT. And as far as a DIT, that means deacon in training, right? So some people don't know that. So even with that going forward, you know what I'm saying, I was more focused on the word. But then I got to the point where, okay, here we go. To even add to that, so deacon in training also. Now, Atlanta, Georgia was a big shocker for me. I'm from small Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to hot Atlanta, Georgia. And moving to Atlanta I loved it. Warm weather, a lot of black people, but I wasn't ready for the life experience that happened down here. And if you don't know, the LGBT group is huge down here in Atlanta, right? And it was kind of like a culture shock to me. Not too bad because I saw it in college, but down here it's heavy strong. Now, I don't have a problem with the people or none of that stuff, but at that point, even when I was working, a guy friend of mine who we worked with was messing with a girl, right? But come to find out, the girl was messing with another dude who happened to be down low. And that was like too close to confront. I said, okay, this is totally messy. I didn't come to Atlanta to catch any diseases, none of this crazy stuff. I said, let me focus and see what I really wanted. So at that point, long story short, I started dating with a purpose, meaning that when I say date with a purpose, every woman I talked to for a certain time frame, I made it clear as day one, hey, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm not looking to have sex right away. And I also want you to come to my club. And what my club was at that time was come to church with me. Those were only 3 things that I required when I was dating for a purpose, which ended up being married. Long-term relationship.
What was that third thing?
I'm saying again, long-term relationship, 1. Number 2, no sex. Number 3, you had to come to church with me. Those are 3 requirements that I asked for when I was dating for like maybe 6 months before I found my wife. And during that time frame, a lot of women failed the test. Because they wanted me to come to the club with them. They wanted me to do XYZ with them, but they would not come to church with me. I was like, okay, well, this ain't going to work out, right? Because that's where I was at in my lifetime. So long story short, I eventually met my wife. Now, it's funny because it kind of ties into the topic here that we talked about here about, these hands, masculine energy, feminine energy, whatever, and dating. So I saw my wife at the job, right? And she happened to come up on my floor because she knew a girl on my team who was pregnant. And she would come and bring her fruit. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, if you
breaking up.
Oh, I'm breaking up. No, I can't break up during the story. Check. Well, how about now? Mic check. 1 2 1 2. If you can hear me.
That's better.
Okay, great. All right. So there's a girl on my team at the time frame. She was pregnant. My wife, my wife now, right, at the time, she was a girl who came up, and she was beautiful, and still is, but she will bring fruit for her friend, right? Her friend was pregnant, and if you're pregnant and you're having a baby, fruit is the best thing to eat if you're going through the whole process of pregnancy, whatever, okay? So, one, that was a plus for me because that shows caring. That showed that she cared about other people that wasn't family, right? She cared about another friend of her who was having a baby. So that was a plus there. All right. 2, I went to a baby shower. So the girl on the same team, right? She invited the whole team to a baby shower, right? The only reason why I went, because I was hoping my wife would be there, right? So I got there pretty early, but people was there, so I figured, okay, cool. So with that being said, once again, back on the same topic, we're sitting at the table, and she's sitting at the table 2 across from me, and we just having conversation. But mind you, I had a mission. So I would ask questions to everybody at the table and let everybody answer, but she was answering questions that kind of match up with what I was looking for, long story short. Before I move on from there, at the end of the baby shower, they gave prizes to everybody. There was prizes for first person in, all the games you played. Long story short, real quick there, I didn't know, but I was the first guest there, so I was kind of put on the spot. Like, dang, I thought I blended in. But anyway, fast forward. We eventually exchanged phone numbers. We had a long conversation. I invited her to my church. She came. We both agreed that no sex for, I was, no, for, until we get married, whatever. So those things kind of lined up and it fell in place for me. But that's I know it wasn't short, but that's my story, how I met my wife and the dating with a purpose. And all those things I talk about is what I live. So I'm not telling you to date with a purpose and I'm just saying it because it sounds good. I'm saying it because I did it to find my wife. And I hope y'all heard that.
And ultimately, you made that decision before trying to have.
Facts.
Yeah.
I made that decision
so I think
before.
That's it too. Right. That's important. That's important because you were coming with your whole self. You wasn't coming with the representation that a lot of women deal with first, and then the men try to figure out, like, is this what I want? Am I ready for this? Am I sure? And that's what we're saying, a lot of this stems from. Because, it was easy. You made the decision. You were able to sift the women out that weren't going to, meet the requirement and, really focus in on the one you wanted, the one you needed based on, disciplining yourself and, making all of those adjustments. So that's dope. But I'm like you, twins. I think that, especially with you wrapping it up with your representation of the topic, right? If you weren't sure if it could happen, it could happen. This is a step that actually works. So, not saying it's the only step that works, but it's definitely one that works. So, we've gotten to a resolve. Yay! We gotta get down this track. Because I think that yay! There we go. I think that I definitely got a lot from this, especially about, just connecting that thing full circle to really expose not just my brothers, my son, to more healthier, on the right path, level-headed men, but also my sisters. So they get that exposure because I had that exposure from, the older guys in the church, like my best friend's uncle. I call him uncle too. We're all like family. But, I was able to go to dinner with men that were not after me, but showed me how a man pulls out the chair, areas where my dad was at work. Like my dad was a working man. He's a carpenter, a contractor. So he showed me other things, but I realized I had a lot more balance in terms of both aspects of it than my sisters. And I never thought to take, to have my sisters just be around other men that aren't looking to eat them up or anything like that. So this was definitely good for me. Definitely. Like take my sisters around some of my male friends and, letting them know, of course, like, look, show them, give them some representation of what they should be looking for. So I appreciate this time today. And it was good and healthy. No argument.
You tried it.
Oh man, who said Mondays are blah? Today was a good Monday. This was a good topic. I enjoyed this conversation. I hope you guys did. Thanks for coming by and dusting your feet off and staying with us this whole time. Thank you for everyone that, shared their input, their comments. And to those of you who did not, it's okay. Share the next time. Just know we're here again on Wednesday at 3 p.m. And this is The Real Deal versus How You Feel. I'm Miss I Speak Life.
All right, we out. Y'all have enjoyed the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Twinsinc.
Yes.